All right, everyone, thanks for coming. We had our first tournament, and in many ways, I think we exceeded expectations. I was really, really impressed with the way that we played. I mean, especially game one and game three, we're in those games at the end, trying to pull out a win. Um, and, we had a couple things not go our way here and there in all three of the games that could have changed the outcomes of those games, could have changed the trajectory of those games. I mean, you look at game number two and we're down 6 runs with the bases loaded. And they catch a great line drive at shortstop, a dropping line drive that the shortstop makes a great play on. If that ball gets through, then we're scoring at least 2 runs off of that, and we're keeping the rally going, and we might score another run or two, and then all of a sudden it's a 6-4 ball game at that point, and it changes the trajectory of what we're trying to do. Since we went out, we were the visiting team. When we went out, we kind of started struggling a little bit on the mound, and so we made some changes, and then the showed it out or played it out till the game ended, and so. I was really, really impressed with the way that the kids played this weekend. I mean, on the weekend we had 54 plate appearances, 39 at bats. We ended up with 14 hits on the weekend, so that was a 359 batting average, a 537 on base percentage. So basically, that means a 359 batting average. We were getting on base via a hit 35, almost 36% of the time that we went up. That's really, really good. That's a really, really good batting average. And then our on base percentage, 53, almost 54% of the time we went up, we were getting on base in some way, through walk or something like that. We did really, really well over the course of this weekend. I was really impressed with what the kids did. I was really impressed with the resiliency that they showed. One thing that was very interesting to me is, you know, as I said, we were in situations where we could have changed the trajectory of every game that we were in, which is really, really good for our first tournament. Really, really good for being out, as a unit for, the first actually the second time against another team, counting our scrimmage. I was really, really impressed with the way that we handled ourselves, and I was really impressed with the way the players picked each other up. It was a lot of fun to see. It was really fun to see the parents get involved, everybody cheering. So that was really, really good. On the whole, I think we had a really good weekend. We have a lot to look forward to. We have things a lot that we can build on from here. So that's really, really fun, to see what we need to work on. Here are some of the areas where we can get better. And if not for, if we have a few breaks go our way instead of their way, some of these games could have been very different. And that's a really good starting place to be, to build from there and be able to teach from there. So that's really, really fun. We have a question if anybody has one. Yeah. Yeah, about the lineup. We are using a continuous lineup, for a few reasons. We use a continuous lineup because one, that's what the kids are used to coming from rec ball. It basically means, you bat everybody in your lineup, or you bat everybody on your team. So 11 in our case. Eventually, you get to the point where you have to bat nine, and you're batting nine, and then you have people that are subbing in or subbing out whenever they need. Another reason we use continuous lineup is it helps to get pitchers ready, and it helps the coaches it helps us to get used to, these tournaments as well. For example, people may have noticed on Saturday, if I thought somebody was going to come in for pitching, I'd like to try to remove them from the game for an inning and have them warming up outside, um, in the bullpen to be ready to come in and pitch. And we're able to do that with a continuous lineup. Whereas if we only were able to bat nine or had to bat nine, we wouldn't be able to do that because we would have to be looking at um, defensive shifts, and we'd have to be looking at where people are going. And once somebody comes into a game, they can't go back into a game, things like that. So that's why we use a continuous lineup. The way we set our lineup is really, really interesting for people to know that it's not just what happens in games, it's what we're seeing in practice all the time. So what we're seeing in the bullpen, what we're seeing in live hitting. And so, we have tried and will continue to try. Our main goal is to put these kids in positions where they can be most successful. So our job as coaches is to try to put them in a position where they can be the most successful. So that's what you see in fielding. That's why we have people playing certain positions. And I was amazed and so happy this weekend. We didn't have a ball get bias in the outfield. We actually had one where somebody tried to make a sliding catch because they knew there was an outfielder behind them. And so we didn't make that sliding catch. The outfielder behind them within a second had that ball up and they were ready to throw into the infield. It's so fun to see. Really, really good play there. And similar with our batting lineup, uh, there are sometimes where we need to see more pitches. And we're identifying those players that maybe benefit from seeing more pitches and benefit from seeing more people get to bat before they bat. And then some of those that are able to maybe go deep into account and allow their teammates to see a lot of pitches. I mean, that last inning, or I'm sorry, the last game yesterday, we made the other team throw 41 pitches in one inning, and that's when we ended up scoring 3 or 4 runs in that inning. Anytime that you can make the opposing team throw more pitches than you, that's really, really good. You put yourself in a really good situation. And so that's kind of the lineup, and we'll get more into it later, and we'll talk more about what the lineup means with the players and what position in the lineup is kind of there are different sort of jobs within a lineup, as far as like what a sixth batter does, what a seventh batter, what's the expectations of a third batter or a first batter, things like that. And we'll get more and more into that as we go across or move through this learning process. So, all in all, I was extremely impressed, and we have a great place to start and be able to work through and teach a lot of things. So, thanks, everybody.